Hey everybody, today's video I'm going to share why living in a bubble will help you thrive in a new country. Now I know some of you might think that this could be a negative thing. It could create isolation. It could kind of bring you away from the culture and from the country that you're in. But from my experience, this will help you out a lot. Hi everybody, my name's Paul. I have been living and working abroad for the past 19 years. And throughout my experience, I have managed to gain a lot of knowledge and understanding and experience, as I mentioned there. And I have collected all this together to create this YouTube channel and pass on to the viewers and the subscribers. So hopefully today, throughout this video, you'll get some kind of valuable insight from myself that will help you with your journey to a new country. All right, so the first question is, what is the bubble? Well, look, this bubble for me has been so important. I think everyone knows what living in a bubble probably means, right? You're kind of protecting yourself. You've got this big bubble around about you, and that's kind of shielding you almost from the reality of the situation, from the country you're in, from the culture, from the negativity outside coming in, right? Now, that's exactly what it is. It's a place that you can recharge, right? It's a place that you can get in touch with yourself. It's a place that you can improve yourself, the way you live, and all of these things, how you deal with stuff, how you react to stuff. So that is basically what it's all about. Now, it's very important to realize it's not all about negative things, right? I've got some notes here, as always, beside me. It's not about shutting yourself off. That's a common kind of misconception, misunderstanding of a bubble. It's not about shutting yourself off from the outside world. It's something that helps you connect more with the outside world. It's something that helps you deal with the outside world more, in my opinion. Now, it's your personal space, right? Living in South Korea, I need personal space. I'm a Scottish guy, I'm a British guy, you know. No matter how I feel about the UK, it is always going to be my home. And that is because I was born there. I am from there, right? I love the weather, even though it's not so good. I love the weather. So for me, comfort is something that you can find in a country. In Scotland, I'm comfortable in the environment. In Korea, I'm not really comfortable in the environment, right? It's not my home. It's a place that I live and work. Is it a second home? Could be, right? But do I see myself as a Korean? No. Do I think I'm part of this culture? Absolutely not, right? And that's probably because I don't try too hard to be part of it. And that's part of the bubble that I've created. That's why I can stay here. So that's what the bubble does for me. It helps me manage stress, right? I don't really get stressed, but if I do, this bubble that I have around me, that I live, that I have in my life, it helps me deal with that and overcome it as well. Okay, why it's important? Well, first of all, stability, all right? We're talking about mental stability, emotional stability. If you think about, like I just mentioned, about stress, your mental health, right? If you go into a new environment, a new country, in the most part, if it's an English-speaking country like America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, you're going to be kind of familiar with a lot of things, right? And it's not going to be entirely different. I've been there, I've done it. But when you go to a country that is entirely foreign to everything that you know, and their first language is not English, example Korea and Korean, it is very, very shocking, okay? And you feel completely on the outside. You feel like an outsider, you feel different, you look different, everything about you is foreign, okay? In Korea, we get something called an alien card. Yeah, true, an alien card. So I'm actually an alien in this country. That's okay. As I say, I've got no problem. I'm here to teach, right? I'm not here to follow the culture I respect it, of course, but I'm not Korean, okay? It doesn't apply to me. I'm a visitor, I'm a guest, I'm an immigrant to this country. And as long as I follow and respect, that's all good, which I do. But I am not Korean, okay? So my kind of well-being, my comfort, my stability emotionally needs to have this bubble in order for me to get throughout the day. Now, what do I do in this bubble? Well, I'll tell you how I kind of do it. At about 9:30 at night, every night on the weekdays, my children and my wife go to bed, right? That's pretty much their bedtime, 9:30. Now, this is for all you dads out there, okay? All you single dads or dads with partners, married fathers, whatever, even for you moms out there, for anyone that needs their own time, this is also your bubble, okay? At 9:30, I am then pretty much on my own, and now this is so important this time for me. It's Paul time, right? It's time that I can reconnect to myself. I can recharge the batteries for the next day, which is very important. Now, what do I like to do in my little bubble or free time? Well, I like to play computer games. I have a PS5 in my house. I've always been a gamer, love gaming. I love to watch football. I still do it, right? I'm a huge fan of the EPL. I don't watch Scottish football, folks. It's terrible. I watch a lot of YouTube. I love live music, okay? So I watch a lot of bands on YouTube. For example, Oasis, Radiohead, Nirvana, whatever it may be, live sets is, for me, it's just so good to connect with. Obviously Netflix, right? Dramas, movies, whatever it may be. That's my way of connecting and having Paul's time at home. Now, it's also important that you surround yourself on people that are going to help you in your bubble. Okay, so let's just say, obviously, the family, the most obvious one. No problem. Your friends. People with negative vibes or negativity in general, they're probably not going to help you in your bubble. Your bubble needs to be a place where it's calm, you know, it's fun, it's comfortable, it's where you can feel better. So try and have some positive people, positive vibes around you in that bubble. That will help. The second part is focus on goals. Avoid distractions. That's my advice if you can. I have a lot of distractions in my life, and of course that's okay. But if you are initially staying in a country and you're trying to maybe learn the language, for example, or you're trying to get to know the culture more, distractions from maybe back home, kind of pulling you back a little bit, right? Homesickness, culture shock. These things will probably negatively affect you because it's going to affect how fast you adapt to the country that you're in. And finally, cultural, adjustment. I've just got some notes here about integrating. I think take it at your own pace. Korean culture is very, very strong. It's got a group mentality, okay? It's not really for the individual. Now, I'm a big individual. I told you before, I'm like a lone wolf, and I know a lot of you are too. I'm a kind of guy that I don't actually need to have friends. I don't need to have people around me. I am pretty comfortable by myself. Of course, I love having my family and I love having friends too, but I cannot live without my family. I need them, sure. But friends, you know what, man? I'm cool, right? Lone wolf, I can go my own way. I'm able to adapt. I'm comfortable with my own space. So for me, that's very, very important. So cultural adjustment, group mentality in Korea, I'm not a huge fan of that. I've done it in the past, like group dinners and stuff like that. I always feel uncomfortable, right? I'd rather much just eat myself, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, cultural adjustment will take a lot of time depending on how different it is to your, home country you're coming from. All right, balance. Now, balance is absolutely huge, okay? You, of course, want comfort, but you want to go on adventure, right? If you're traveling to a new country, you can't just go back to your apartment every day and lock yourself away in that bubble. It's not a shield, it's not isolation, like I mentioned. It is a place that you have to use for that on some occasions, but you need to balance it with the adventure, with the courage to go out and make new friends, with the courage to get to know the culture, to get to know the people, to go to the restaurants, right? Go to the real places in the country, to smell it, to taste it, whatever it may be. You have to have the balance. So that is my advice. Step out your comfort zone, but always remember that bubble's there to get your comfort levels back up, okay? Building a healthy bubble, like I mentioned, relationships are very, very important. I've had some good friends here in the past, and I spoke about that in previous videos. Wonderful friends. The biggest problem is, everybody, friends, when you travel in another country, they come and they go. I didn't always plan to stay here for a long time, right? But that's just the way it happened. And sometimes that's the way the cookie crumble. That's just the way life works. And you have to make the most of your situation and your, what's actually going on in your life. Change is good, sure. But at the same time, you have to have this system set out in place for yourself to make sure that you are comfortable and you're not overthinking things, you're not stressing things when that change does happen, because change can be scary. So I would say relationships are very important. Like I said, positive people around you would be a good idea. The next thing I've wrote down here is your routines, right? If you wake up early and get a coffee in the morning, if you like to go a walk, I like to do these things late at night, right? In my household, after 9:30, like I said, I'm free. I love to go to the mountain in the dark by myself, maybe a little torch, right? For me, that's so soothing and peaceful. There's almost nobody there. There's not a soul up in that mountain. There's animals, there's deers running about. It's so nice. It's very quiet. It is a little eerie and spooky at some points, but I like that, you know. I actually can relate to that, to go back to my days in the country house as a kid. So for me, it's kind of soothing, and it's part of me recharging myself. So hobbies, do your hobbies. Make sure you have time for your hobbies, for your passion. These are all things that can mentally stimulate you and help you, which is very important. Eat well, try to eat well, right? Exercise if you can. Like I say, I go walks, you know, not every day, but most days. Am I at peak physical condition? No, I'm not, but like, who is, right? I guess some people are, but for me, I'm still trying to work on that. It might take a while. Okay, the next thing is motivational message. I would say my bubble helps me to navigate the downs in life. Now, everybody feels down. I recently lost my father last year. It was very, very difficult for me to go through that here in a foreign country. But you know what? Those walks to the mountain, my bubble, my own time, having some really close friends here, my wife especially helped me a lot, my kids. That's when you need your comfort, right? That's when you need that bubble around you. That's when you need that safe place. And that's kind of what it is. It's a safe place. If you need some things from home, souvenirs, fridge magnets, decorations, letters from home, whatever it may be, put them into your bubble, put them into your safe place. But for sure, one thing that you really need when you travel to a new country is that bubble, okay? And it's helped me throughout the years coming here, to live here, to survive here. Without that bubble, I couldn't have done it. That's the truth. I probably would have lost my mind a long time ago, and maybe I would have went home. Okay, so hopefully today's video is kind of gave you some information about the bubble and how useful it was for me and how useful it can be for you. Today's video was kind of like a little bit laid back, right? A little chat. So listen, thanks for joining me. Hopefully it's been a little bit kind of, you know, helpful for you. I'm going to go back to my bubble now. Okay, so I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.